Hi and welcome to MUMMYPENNY Talks. It is Tuesday the 28th of April. It's 12 o'clock. I've changed the time of the podcast, the live episode I put out on Facebook. I've changed it to 12 o'clock because I thought that's going to be better because people will be starting to have their lunch and they could maybe stand there and watch me rabbit on for 20 minutes, 25 minutes whilst they're making their lunch, couldn't they? It also means that lunch is delayed for my boys, but I'm going to make them pancakes, I have promised, once I'm done. Right, I am just going to try and faff around a little bit with Facebook and attempt to do a watch party. Didn't manage it last week. Not sure if I'll manage it this week. Oh, look, we can share it. That's a good sign. Let's share now. That's probably going to share to Lynn James. Yes. Right, so today what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to talk a little bit about my spending diary for last week because that was interesting. Quite a spendy week. I'm going to talk about a piece I wrote for Pension Bee which went live yesterday. I'm going to talk about a very clever new app called Snoop which will save you money. It's already saved me some money. It's quite new and different and clever. I'm going to talk a little bit about anxiety as well. So I'm going to start with the anxiety stuff because it's as more people are joining live, there might be people out there going through the same thing. So if you've read my spending diary, I've written a little bit about this in there. But sorry, random hair. Saturday was a very stressful day, and it sort of rolled on. It had an impact on Sunday as well. So I woke up very early on Sunday morning and I was extremely productive, got loads of writing done, but I also overdosed on coffee. I had 3 or 4 cups of coffee, which is never a good thing. I did loads of writing. I wrote a massive chunk of my book. So where am I up to now? I'm up to about 9,000 words now. So that means I'm nearly 20% of the way to writing my book. This is good news. And then it was a really nice day, so I sort of lay in the garden, but anxiety started to creep in. And it just sort of got worse and worse throughout the day, and was the same yesterday on Monday as well. And I'm thinking it's a combination of a lot of things. So lockdown obviously is causing a lot of anxiety for people. The same routine day in, day out is just dull. Home education's really, really hard. Then we've got the stuff that's happening at home with the children's dad moving out, worrying about money, or almost the opposite. I've got a lot of work that I need to do, so worrying about prioritising that. I did sort one thing out on Sunday, actually, something that was giving me anxiety. So I'd paid for a course, and it was £70, I think, for this course. But it started at the beginning of April, and I just wasn't able to do it. I wasn't able to commit the time. And I actually contacted the people who run the course and said, look, it's not benefiting me. I haven't got the time to do it. Can I just have a refund? And they gave me a refund. So that was really great. That alleviated some. But yeah, I've just got a lot going on. So yeah, anxiety is riding really, really high. And my friend, oh look, hi, Lee's watching. Hello, Lee. And Lee, hello, Lee. Went to school with Lee. So yeah, anxiety is pretty bad at the moment. So what I'm doing later at 3 o'clock this afternoon is my friend Heather Hall, who is a hypnotherapist, used to work with Heather at EE, and she's now a trained hypnotherapist for the past sort of 8 years, I think she's been going. She treated me for weight loss 5 years ago, yeah, and I lost loads of weight with the hypnotherapy. She's gonna just do a little session with me on anxiety, so hopefully that will calm it down. If you are feeling the same way, go over to Heather's website. Just search for Heather Hall Hypnotherapy. She lives in Hemel Hempstead as well, so there's a lot of H's there. But she's written a guide, 6 steps to dealing with anxiety in current times. So have a read of that and see if you can sort of glean anything from that. Loads and loads of really good tips she's got in there, like daily gratitude, breathing techniques, not drinking coffee, not drinking alcohol. I'm not quite sure I'm prepared to not drink alcohol. But yeah, it's something I know a lot of people are going through. So yeah, go check out Heather's website and download the guide to anxiety. It's on her Facebook page and it's on her Instagram and everything as well, so you can find her there. So yeah, that's the mental health side of the podcast. Let's just check that is still recording. Yes, it is. So otherwise, so last week in terms of my spending, it was a really quite a big spending week, but there was a lot of business expenses that went through last week. Once you strip all of them out, and I think I saved about £50 into my autosave account. I think I spent about £400-ish, but yeah, business expenses of £300 went through last week. I was meant to be flying to Antigua in March for a holiday / business retreat with my friend who lives out there. That's been rescheduled to December, and I realised that I could use my air miles, to book a flight, and the price was literally like so low. So I bought a flight to Antigua on Sunday for £250, which the price I paid for the flight where I was meant to be going in March was £430. So yeah, I've saved a lot of money. Hopefully I can go in December, but we just don't know, do we? There's just so much that's unknown. That's the other thing that's adding to the anxiety, isn't it? You can only really plan sort of a couple of days ahead. Like, I know what I'm doing for the rest of this week, but I don't really know what's happening next week, and yeah, how long this is going to go on for. It's tricky. So yeah, spending wise, it's the last post on my website. I've written a post every week for lockdown and detailing, all the bills I pay and the amount spent on groceries. I spent £400 so far in April on groceries. It's by far the biggest expense, but then like I'm saving money on loads of other stuff. We bought we had a big swimming pool in the garden, which ended up being destroyed by a child. But we've got a new one which found on Amazon for £100, and Dylan did some research and found it on a different website for £70. So we try to save where we can on these things, and we'll have a nice pool back out in the garden. Water is very important to me, so it'll be really nice to have the pool back again. Right, Snoop. I need to talk to you about the Snoop app. So it is an app you download on your phone. It literally just came out last week, and I've hooked it up to my current account, my First Direct current account. Might not be First Direct for much longer. I think I'm actually going to switch to somebody else because First Direct wouldn't give me a mortgage, even though I've been hi Stacey. First Direct wouldn't give me a mortgage, even though I've been a customer of theirs for 20 years. So yes, sorry, just got a message through there. Yeah, it hooks up to my First Direct current account where most of my bills, costs go through. Credit card monthly payment goes through, and it analyzes the things going through your bank account, and it gives you like a specific personalised information based on how you spend your money. So it told me a really useful thing. It told me that I had put £1,500 so far into this autosave account called Chip, and it said to me, then you do realise that doesn't pay you any interest. And I did know this. It was an autosave account just to push money aside without me sort of making any effort to do anything. But what it did what I did end up doing was I moved that £1,500 over to my Marcus account, which does pay interest, and that's where I hold all of my emergency money and tax money. I've got a really horrible tax bill that needs to be paid in September. It's very traumatic. It's really big. A big tax bill's a good thing because it means that you are obviously making money. But it's very traumatic that I've got to give that much money to the government. Of course, they might let me pay in instalments to be organised. So yeah, the other things I've written about this week are, I did a post for Pension Bee, and it's gone live over on their website, and it's a really interesting post. It had quite a lot of reaction on Twitter when I put it out this morning, where the title is "The Best Gift a Husband Can Give to His Wife is a Pension Contribution." So what I'm getting at here is, generally, I know it's not always the case, don't have a go at me, but generally the woman takes time off for maternity leave, maybe takes a little bit of time off to have to look after the baby afterwards. Maybe the woman has 2 babies, maybe 3 babies like me, maybe more. So that's a lot of time you're taking off work, where pension contributions either stop. I certainly stopped mine because I couldn't afford to pay the pension once my salary went down to like statutory minimum, maternity pay at, what is it, 130, I'm guessing there, 120, £130 a week, difficult to survive on. Then often after the children are born, women maybe go back to work on less than full-time hours. So again, pension contributions go down compared to their partner who might be earning a full-time salary. And then later in life, a lot of women end up looking after their parents, so even more caring responsibilities, where hours might drop down to part-time. So this pension gap gets bigger and bigger and bigger as women get older. By the time you get to 50 plus, the gap between men and women, as in the size of the pension pot, is huge. Hi Jenna. It's thousands and thousands of pounds. All the stats are on the post on Pension Bee, and I've shared it on my social media. So it's not good enough, is it? Like, women's pension needs to be the same size as men. We're the ones who have stopped working to look after the children. Then we should be rewarded with that money into our pensions as well. Some marriages end up ending. 42% of marriages end up in divorce. Interesting statistic. The average age for a man to get divorced is 45. Average age for a man is 46. Average age for a woman is 44. So yeah, I'm nearly a dead-on statistic for an average divorced age. But yeah, that affects pensions as well. So sometimes pensions aren't even taken into consideration if they're deemed like too small. Yeah, no, it is scary. So when you think about it, so yeah, Sophie's saying that is scary when you think about the gender pension gap. But yeah, pensions and divorce is another thing to sort of be considered, because if you're the woman and you've spent all those years bringing up the children and your pension pot is a lot smaller than your husband, and then you get divorced, sometimes it's taken into account, sometimes it isn't. It might be an arrangement where you just take the equity of the house, and certainly my pensions and my ex's pensions weren't taken into consideration. So yeah, it's just worth thinking about. And what I'm suggesting is that the higher earner gifts pension contributions to the lower earner, just to bring their pot up a little bit in size. I know there's tax implications, blah, blah, blah. Somebody's already had a go at me on Twitter for that. So yeah, it's absolutely something that you need to take some guidance and advice on. But it's an idea, isn't it? Like, if your husband's going to go spend, like, I don't know, I'm going to exaggerate wildly here, but say you get £1,000 present for Christmas off your husband, I don't know, a diamond necklace or something, wouldn't it be better to have that £1,000 put into your pension pot instead? I know it's not romantic, but it's good for you as the woman. So yes, it's a really interesting post. Go and read that on Pension Bee website. And the other thing I was going to mention was Zopa. So I wrote a post last week. So it might be quite tricky to find. If you go to my Instagram, it's in my link in bio. Yeah, I wrote a post for Zopa on the challenges of working from home when you've got children around. It's quite an amusing post actually, where I'm talking about harnessing certain sort of pockets of time when you can get work done. I'm harnessing a pocket of time at the moment. I've got a half-hour interval in the daily planner where I can do my podcast, and then I'm going to go and do the pancakes after the podcast. But yeah, we're not doing loads of home education. We're really not, because the boys can't do it. So far today, we've done 20 minutes of fractions, which Jack's quite good at. So that was quite fast. I begged them to do PE with Joe Wicks with me, but they wouldn't do it. So I did it by myself, hence I've still got wet hair. Yeah, it's a challenge, but structure is your friend. And that's all I can say, really. It's just really hard, and it's a thing that's adding to everybody's and my anxiety. So hope you're doing okay. Thank you for watching. How long? Oh, I've only been talking for 16 minutes. That's not too long. Yeah, thanks for watching. If you've got any questions, send me a message on Facebook. Or email me. I've got a couple of Q&A type things coming up in the next couple of weeks with brands. So if you do have any like burning questions, I will be sort of coming out to you and asking you what your questions are, and we'll be answering them in clever things like Instagram lives with 2 people on the screen. I've never done that before, but that'll be Jenna's done that. I can ask you how to do it. Yeah, it's going to be good stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Don't forget to go read all my posts on my website. Follow me on Instagram, because my Instagram's really good at the moment, and loads of people are engaged and liking my posts. Yay. What's Jenna saying? We've done 30 minutes, and well done, Jenna. You've done 30 minutes. It's a bit more than my 20 minutes. And they're watching David Attenborough Planet Earth. That's really good. That's really educational. That's good. Well done. I think Jack's playing on Minecraft, which is also educational, just to point out as well. Right. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next week.